in Da Nang one time, I saw Casio. You had a question about the show
I just want to point out,
Wrestlers.
since we were talking about anuses, anyways,
Yes.
if you can Google this too,
Yeah.
your anus, the human anus, can stretch to about 9 inches, right?
Yeah.
So, the next time you're at like yoga
Of
class and
course.
Carol's
Yeah.
over there going, I'm nuts, can't do this, I'm not that flexible. You go, Carol, I think you're underestimating yourself. Dare to dream, Carol. Hey, another little thing you can Google too, okay, because it kind of ties in, and
Yeah.
that is, these are all, it's a shoot. Um, a raccoon can fit in like a hole about 4 inches around. So really, technically, you could like stuff 2 raccoons up your ass. I mean, that would,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
time on your
Have
hands,
room left over.
I think
you'd have
Richard
a little
Gere
room, at
did.
least an inch. Yeah, well, yeah.
So I'm not sure if it was raccoons.
Come on, back up in there, Skippy. Let's go.
Ricky Raccoon.
Ricky Raccoon, let's go up there.
Take
You little,
your mask off, you
bandit.
little bandit.
Yeah, you little turd bandit.
We have reached
New
premium.
level, yeah.
No, but it's great. It's exactly what this podcast is all about. Al, nobody's really listening. This is for you and I and Casio.
Yeah, I
Just to
know.
fly on the wall.
It's all just for us, for our
We're just
entertainment.
catching up. You know what I mean?
Same amount of people listen to this as showed up for practice 2 days.
That's right, yes. No
Hey,
motivation,
The truth is, Al, and I don't know if there was a time in your life when this was a thing, but I remember just needing to get into a wrestling ring.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I just need to get in one, and once I can get in, any opportunity I had to get in one, I was getting in one. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
so
Yeah.
that to me is, if there was one across town, I would have been there. You know what I mean? Like I would have been there. I wanted to do it.
And I think that's where the frustration comes in, sometimes
Yeah.
because, I remember when, I would be in the ring for hours, and you had to kick me out of there,
Yeah.
and, to have an opportunity like this, like, back in the day, if you'd have told me what grocery store she was coming out of, I'd just say, make sure it's canned good day so she can't push the cart too fast, and I'd run her over, just to get this chance. And I got to beg these people to help themselves,
Yeah.
I'm willing to commit murder back then, The old A&P, I'm gonna.
Look, you willing to chase a dreamer, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm willing to chase her in with a grocery cart. That's what I'm willing to do.
She's bloated in the stream behind my house.
Yeah.
She's bloated in the stream with a raccoon in it.
Yeah, with 2 raccoons up her ass. Yeah. Yeah. 2 Ricky raccoons.
There's got to be a question about the show Wrestlers that we could ask.
Why did they make, my favorite thing in the entire deal is, because I'm weird and stupid, is why did they make Darkstorm do the interviews in the car?
I don't know.
It's the best
I have
thing.
no idea. Him hanging his arm out over that beat up car.
There's a picture of it.
Dog,
That's
every
his-
episode, every interview,
that's-
he's in that car.
Yeah, and that's his car too. That was a car that he drove and he broke down. Yeah.
God bless his heart.
Yeah.
I
Dog,
remember
then
the
he pulls
first
off
time.
at the end and
first-
runs
oh,
over
go
the
ahead.
curb.
He does what?
At the end, he runs over the curb trying to pull off. Like, he made a point, and he's like, I'm out of here.
And boom, boom, boom.
Old
Yeah.
band behind him.
Yeah,
Oh,
dropped
I
the
love
rear end. It just fell out.
I don't know
First
whose
time I
idea
ever
that
met
was. It was gone.
Jimmy Jacobs, it was on one of those tours up in Canada for Danny Duggan. I don't know. Do you know? Yeah, the Inuit Indian reservations and the whole deal. And so anyway, Jimmy Jacobs had driven the whole thing, and it was like a K car, and it was spray painted, and it was horrible. And I said, dude, that's your car. I felt bad.
I got to tell you about this 10-day tour it was Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, right?
Yep.
And so we arrive. The guy, the promoter, takes myself, and Luke, the bushwhacker, so they take us to this bed and breakfast. A retired police chief and his wife run the bed and breakfast, and this is where they store the ring in the garage. And I meet the head of the ring crew, Wiener is his name. Who it looks
Anthony
like
Weiner is his name.
Yeah, an 82-year-old Yosemite Sam, right? He's a former moonshiner who got caught by the Canadian government and now has to work on the ring. So, and he's seated next to Honky Tonk Man, who both are completely drunk, just obliterated.
No way.
What a
This
shock.
This is your entry into Newfoundland.
Well, now we wake up in the morning, we go downstairs, and I find out, hey, Wiener's about the easiest person to get to know because the couple, the wife's cooking, breakfast, right? The husband's watching porn. He's watching porn on the computer with the volume turned up full blast. As I'm walking down the stairs, I'm just hearing, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? I come down there. She's no selling it at all. He's walking around the house like it's an episode of Dragnet on the TV screen. I'm like, what is going on, right?
I'd like a hotel. That's all.
So now I go meet the rest of the crew. I meet Indian Larry. Okay.
Yeah.
He is not Native Canadian. He was adopted by Native Canadians and believes he is, so much so that at the end of the tour, he put on and donned the ceremonial garb, performed a ceremony, and gave Luke and I, dream catchers he had bought at a gas station.
Not me.
But that was nice of him.
Yeah, there was high-pitched Shane. Shane was a 20-year-old boy who sounded like he was perpetually kicked in the nuts.
So these are nicknames you're giving him, or these are the
nicknames?
Okay.
Yeah,
I needed everyone to be.
And then there was old Bob. Old Bob was like, he literally sounded like Boomhauer from King of the Hill. And only Wiener could communicate with old Bob, and old Bob could communicate with Wiener. Okay. So,
after 10 days, you get to know this stuff too.
Now there were two dentists that were like road managers. There was the local dentist, pretty halfway average. Then there was the dentist that was trying to steal his job from Toronto, that lived in a white panel van, with his 16-year-old son, who he would always constantly be doing this, and his face was purple. And I'm like, does this guy have a seizure? What's going on? Right?
Wait, whose face was purple? The kids?
The old dentist. No, the dentist.
Okay.
And he's rubbing himself, and he's moving in his clothes, and I'm like, what the hell is going on with this guy? Turns out he's on ecstasy 24 hours a day.
Makes sense.
Lives
now.
on it, and he's
Makes
just all the time just rubbing himself. And I'm
does
like,
he have a gallon of orange juice?
Well, now I found out how Wiener got his name. You guys like to hear that?
I sure would.
I go, Wiener, how did you get this name? He goes, I'll show you. Okay. He takes 24 hot dogs, and one at a time puts them in, pulls them out, and then they're gone. He swallows them whole into his stomach. And I was like, if you ever decide to have a career in gay porn, you will be a millionaire.
Yeah. What's his name again? And do you have his number?
Wiener.
Wiener, I'm coming. I'm coming, honey.
Yeah. me and Dennis.
Me and Dennis are coming, honey, and we're bringing the X, baby. That sounds. You know what though? There's just enough, and I know you too, Al. There's just enough entertainment in that cast of characters to get you through. You know what I mean?
I met the Goalers, and you can now Google. You can Google this. They wrote articles on them. Okay, we're at this one particular town. It's up there in God knows where in Newfoundland, or Nova Scotia, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I see this girl come walking up, and I swear to God, like her eyes are on either side of her head. She looks like a goldfish. And I'm like, oh my God, right? And she's bringing a little kid who's like slobbering, and I'm like, oh. So I run to the back. I run to the back, right?
You ran from her, of course.
Yeah, of course I did. I run to the back to announce to everybody, there's a goldfish person out here, right? And Mike Hughes, Cowboy Mike Hughes goes, oh, that's like Sarah. And I go, what? You know her? He goes, yeah, she's like a local rat. I go, what? Tell me, what did you just say? He goes, yeah, you know the boys. I go, you've got to be kidding me.
Not these
right?
boys.
And he goes, yeah, she's one of the goalers. I go, what the hell's a goaler? He goes, there's a family that live up in the hills and like for generations have been inbred. And he goes, like, one time, and this was the best thing. He goes, one time, one of the local news people, they were up there like shooting each other, having a family feud. So the local newscaster decided he was going to go up and do, goalers.
Darn.
He was going to go up and do an investigative report, right?
Yeah.
So he goes up and he interviews the patriarch of the family, the old man. And he goes, sir, I hope this doesn't offend you, but there have been reports of incest up here. And he goes, insects? Ain't better be no goddamn insects in here. I sprayed last week. And I went, if I'd have been that reporter, I'd have just looked at the camera and went, back to you. My investigation's over. We're done.
We're done here.
Insects. Better not be no goddamn insects up here. I sprayed it last week.
And was serious.
We're done.
Goaler, yeah, we're shooting straight. Yeah. Well, thank you, Mr. Goaler. We're gonna.
We're just gonna leave that right there. You know.
Back to you in the
Goaler.
studio, Jim. Maybe you can talk about in weather.
Yeah.
How did we get to Wiener not being
don't
the
know.
incest group? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The goalers were.
The goalers, man, and she was
goalers.
one of them. Bless her heart.
Read the the article.
I'm gonna go and look it up.
Yeah.
You found it pretty easily, Dom. Dom's got his guy's phone number in his Rolodex.
That's and let's be honest. I mean, that's the one greatest thing. Like used to, I get all like worked up. Now I just embrace it.
Yeah.
And it's like I get to live in Ripley's Believe It or Not land all the time.
All the time, and they're paying you. And they're paying you. If you can keep that perspective, because that's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is keeping the proper perspective. And if you can, that's why I said I know you, because I know you would be looking for the entertainment out of these cast of characters, and then prodding to get more. Would love to have been on that.
Yes. I call it facilitating you being able to live your life to its fullest.
All.
You know what I mean? That's
all. Is it too much to ask?
I don't think so. I say we push the boundaries.
I agree, man.
I can't wait for season 2, Wrestlers Nova Scotia. That's what I want. The OVW moves up to Nova Scotia.
We moved to Nova Scotia.
Hey, for real though, who do you have